training committee of the Sunshine Ordinance Task Force. We don't have a quorum, so I will convene this meeting as an informal gathering, as Ms. Avery has to get back to the Planning Commission. And also, we will not take minutes, but we will take notes. So I noticed that member Monet has come, and thank you. Now we only need one more for a quorum. And we're hoping that Mr. Chan or Mr. Johnson come quickly in any event. We will dispense with the formalities that we usually take place and go right to number 3. Could you read number 3?
Item number 3 is the hearing on the status of the December 1st, 2009 Order of Determination of Library Users Association against the Historic Preservation Commission.
Okay, and we will just abide by the usual time limits, so we will begin then with Mr. Warfield. Is Mr. Warfield here? Yes. Is that mic on?
Testing. Peter Warfield, Library Users Association. First of all, I'd like to say that I object to going forward with a meeting that does not have a quorum. There's no basis in law for doing this, and there is, I think, no point, particularly when there are only one member present when the meeting or the whatever informal was started, and now there are 2, and for a quorum there is needed 3. I will speak under protest because I don't want an opportunity which it has taken considerable effort to attend on my part and on other members of the public who are here, as well as the department representative who is also here. Thank you. In a New York Times Magazine article in November 1980, Barbara Tuchman, the historian, wrote what I think became a well-known article, The Decline of Quality. And she invented the terms Q and non-Q to join U and non-U already in existence thanks to one of the Mitford sisters. Without making too much of a deal out of it, she talks about the decline of quality generally in various areas, craftsmanship and the arts and so on. I am very disappointed that in this meeting, which is supposed to take up whether and how and to what degree on this item, the Historic Preservation Commission has satisfied an order of determination issued by the task force December the 1st, had in the agenda packet that was posted online at least, no order of determination, no minutes of any kind from the HPC, no evidence from the HPC that they were complying or intended to comply. Nothing, in fact, was in the agenda packet that was posted online, which I checked. Nothing at all was posted online, other than the agenda item listing in the agenda. And it seems to me that it's the job of the Sunshine Task Force, if it's going to talk about enforcement or talk about progress or any other aspect of compliance with an order, then it ought to have some of those things present. And it ought to be in a position itself to do an analysis of what level of compliance has been accomplished. Unfortunately, my effort to look at tapes, audio tapes of meetings, that happened relatively recently that might have related to a period when the HPC was under the order to comply. Those were thwarted when the support person in charge told me, first of all, that she couldn't get the stuff together as an immediate disclosure request, and she also didn't have a tape recorder, which for a longer than second week now is in the progress of being replaced because the planning department, with 200 employees and I believe a $20 million budget, can't afford to get a tape recorder to play those tapes that they had previously. In any case, I have seen some of the posted minutes in the website of the planning department for the HPC, and I do not think that these that I have seen come anywhere close to providing the level of accuracy and detail that is necessary to understand what was going on. So, for example, although I told the HPC that their minutes did not comply with the law, that is nowhere to be found in the minutes that I could find. Likewise, in a variety of other places, these minutes take a nod towards compliance and the appearance of providing some information, but in many cases, they list one or several topics, but not a summary of what was said by the person in any reasonable interpretation of that term, summary.
Thank you, Mr. Warfield. Is there anybody here to speak on behalf of Peter Warfield? Okay, Mr. Wiedmeyer.
Good afternoon. I would like to reiterate some of the points that Mr. Warfield has made in regard to the HPC's compliance. I think there's some effort going on. I think it's good that the issue has been raised with the HPC as a new commission. We want to see them being as effective as they can and having excellent minutes. And however, for the public comment, we still have occasion where there's a sort of inconsistency from speaker to speaker. Sometimes the position of the topic that's sometimes raised is indicated, but not always, and not always consistently, in particular meetings. It's something that we hope they're moving, I hope they're moving towards, but so far it hasn't been a consistent case. We also do have a little bit to be desired from some of the summaries. I have made numerous public comment interventions at the meetings in regard to a very serious case where documents have not been correctly entered into the official record, documents from the city's files. For 6 months I've been trying to get them entered, and the issue of the case isn't always indicated. It's often just stated that I'm for a certain address, which is a bit unclear, because certainly the proponents in this particular case are for something happening at that address, and the appellants in that case are also for something happening at that address. So it's a little bit vague, and I hope that perhaps there can be a better job of both the position being made more clear and the summary of the speakers. And I mean, in various minutes you can compare, sometimes it is done right, or more clearly that a speaker has a certain position for or against a particular topic. But it's not always carried through to all the speakers in the public comment. And it's the same kind of situation in public comment on the agenda items as well. There's an improvement. It's much better than it was, and I'm very glad to see that Library Users Association and others have been working on this area, and we certainly appreciate the work of the HPC in taking it up. But one problem is that also the HPC hasn't really discussed the December 1st ruling that you've made or the review that's been made, and I find that a little bit troubling. I wish that, as far as I know, I was trying to monitor, I don't believe they have discussed since then. Earlier in the fall, there was some discussion of minutes, that perhaps was not agendized, but nonetheless, the issue is before us, and I would hope that you would press it so that we can have the best minutes possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wiedmeyer. Then we'll now hear from Ms. Avery from the HPC.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I am Linda Avery, the Commission Secretary for both the Historic Preservation Commission and the Planning Commission. I actually would beg to respectfully disagree. The Historic Preservation Commission did mention at their last hearing the situation with the SOT task force, and I told them that I had come to this meeting, or to that meeting, from the Planning Commission, because unfortunately your hearings are scheduled at the same time as the Planning Commission, so I can only come if the President grants me the leave to come over, to leave that hearing and come over. So I was present. I was not present at the December 1st meeting. I was out of town that day, and I did send an email to the task force stating that I would not be available for that hearing. So I was, I did do that in advance of the hearing. I was able to make the last hearing of this body, and I'm here today under the same set of circumstances, in that the President has allowed me to leave the Planning Commission hearing to come here. To address the topic, we did talk about it at the HPC. I mentioned that the determination that we were found to be not in compliance, and I had not. And I will say that at the last meeting, I mentioned that I had not seen the determination other than what was talked about here. So I had never been given a copy of it. I did receive one after that meeting. I got a copy of the determination after that meeting. But I had addressed it at the last hearing. I also, and just to follow up on what Mr. Warfield and Mr. Wiedemeyer have said, the HPC, we are trying to comply with your determination that we provide more detailed summary of comments of members of the public when they speak. We have changed our format somewhat from just listing the speakers, and I believe that every set of minutes we've done since the complaint has been filed, we have moved in the direction of compliance. We might not be perfect, and I apologize for that. We are striving for perfection, but we are definitely moving towards that state of perfection. We are including, as I see in the determination, that we indicate whether or not the speaker is for or against the item that is before the commission, and that we summarize somewhat. Now, I guess the emphasis here would be on the definition of summarize, what the speaker is saying. So we try to give the commission some indication of whether, the concerns that are mentioned by the public speaker. I will say that the commission has indicated they have noticed a change in the minutes since the complaint has been filed, and they are generally very pleased with that, and they have requested that we keep going in that vein, and to the extent that we can, and that Mr. Warfield has mentioned that lack of budget or staff is no reason not to comply. He's absolutely correct. So the commission wants us to comply, and we are doing everything we can to do that.
Okay, thank you. I just want to say a couple of things. The order determination simply said, could you just stay there, Ms. Avery, because I want to ask you something. My understanding, the order determination says that the requirement is, or the failure was not providing a brief summary, and I hope you heard brief.
Right.
And also whether the complainant or whether the speaker was for or against. You might look at the Library Commission minutes or some other groups' minutes. I mean, I'm not quite sure what brief means, but I know that we've had a case like this in the past. And it's, to my mind, it's not required to write everything that the person said. A brief summary, I think, is self-explanatory.
I agree.
And you know, you could say those four and then do all the people who were for, so you wouldn't have to say in each one, this person supports the,
Well, actually, we
position.
did that, and I
Did?
believe that that was part of the complaint, is that we listed them, and either for the project that was before the commission or against, and the complaint is that we didn't summarize the comments of the speakers. And, you know, I guess in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, so if we're talking about 123 Any Street, and whatever their proposal is, it might be landmark number 1 in the city and county of San Francisco, and they're proposing to put a garage. Well, me as Jane Doe speaks in support of that garage, you know, we were listing them that way. And the complaint was that we didn't summarize their comments. So, you know, now we're trying to state that Jane Doe spoke in support of 123 Any Street addition of a garage and to this landmark number 1 by saying that she doesn't believe it's adverse to the historic landmark or the district or whatever. But we're trying to add that. We're at the point where we're adding those kinds of things, but it is still brief and it's still a summary. It is not verbatim.
well, it's not, you know, it's not supposed to be
Right, I
verbatim.
agree.
If someone wants a verbatim transcript, they can listen to the tape. But the principle that we do long, Mr. Rustam is very diligent, so he has long public comment. But I mean, I don't think that, I do the minutes, I go over the minutes for the library CAC, which I chair, and we state the gist of it, but we don't state verbatim. So I mean, what we're looking for, I'm very pleased that HPC has said that they want to do this. We're looking for a statement that you're going.
Yes,
To
we
do
are
it.
going to. We are
Okay.
absolutely going to.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. And
And I would be more than happy to see the library's minutes and even the minutes from this body.
yeah, I mean, those are the ideal. The library doesn't always say everything everybody says, as Mr. Warfield has testified at library commission meetings. But it's a step in the right direction. What we do here is quite extensive since we're the Sunshine Task Force. But I think the important thing is to indicate pro or con,
Right.
and a brief summary. Is a
Well,
brief.
that's where we are, and we will continue that. If you believe that we need to expand that even more, we will do that also. But that is where we are, pro or con, and a brief summary of what they've said.
Well, I certainly appreciate that, and I think that everybody on the task force would certainly be willing to urge a budget enhancement to make
We
it
would-
simpler.
Thank you. We would
Yeah.
absolutely love for that to happen. Thank
Okay.
you.
So now, I do see that we do have the minutes, several sets of minutes here. So Mr. Warfield, what is the next one? Rebuttal? Mr. Warfield, do you want to do a rebuttal? But I mean, I have heard a statement that absolutely they're going to abide by the sunshine rules, which is what we wanted to hear.
Peter Warfield, Library Users Association Executive Director. Let me say at the outset that I have the highest regard and respect for Ms. Avery. And however, as I have said before, I think it's a real red herring, whether it's intentional or not, to talk about her particular workload with respect to any of the duties that are the obligation of the body and the department that supports it. I don't care whether Ms. Avery is overworked or underworked or out sick for 6 months. That would be unfortunate. But it's not her duty alone to satisfy the requirements of the law in a department with 200 employees, as I recall, and approximately a $20 million budget. It's the department's obligation, whether or not Ms. Avery can handle it or needs more staff or whatever it takes. So whether the department came or not, I'm glad they came today, and I'm glad they came when they came, and I'm not glad that they didn't come when they didn't come. But the fact is, it is the departmental responsibility. With respect to the complaint, it most certainly said that there were times when there was not an indication in the minutes at issue as to whether somebody was for or against something, as well as these minutes lacked, for the most part, summaries of what people had said. We know that the accuracy and the completeness and so on of minutes is naturally a matter that isn't always entirely easy. But I'm very sorry, when I look at the December 2nd minutes, which were not at issue in the complaint, Peter Warfield, here's what it says about public comment. Peter Warfield Library Users Association, parens LUA,
What page
regarding.
is that, Peter? What page is
I
that?
do not know. I excerpted it from the minutes that I found online. December the 2nd, public comment should be near the front. But just please listen. Regarding. Announced Sunshine Ordinance Task Force took up minutes of the April 8th and August 19th hearing based on complaint filed by the LUA. Now, on December 2nd, this was exactly the day after the Sunshine Task Force voted unanimously, 8-0, to find the HPC and the Planning Department in violation of the law on those minutes. I don't think it does justice to that fact and that comment to say that I came there to announce that the Sunshine Task Force took up the minutes of some prior meeting and say nothing about the opinion of illegality and the finding of illegality. That's crucial to that comment, and it ain't there. These do not comply with the requirements of the law. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Warfield. I'm sorry, I didn't get the packet, so is the next for a rebuttal from the respondent? Okay, Ms. Avery, do you want to say anything further?
Not much. I would just say that that at the time of where the complaint is filed against the minutes mentioned, it was probably true. We were just listing the names without any summary without any indication of, what site or whatever. But since the complaint has been filed, we have started adding those things. And I guess, again, it's really it's an individual opinion of defining summary. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Just
One of the procedures
I'm
is,
sorry.
I'm supposed to have the last
excuse me,
word
Mr.
under the
Warfield.
procedures.
Mr. Rustin?
This is an informal hearing.
What?
This is an informal hearing.
Sorry? That's the end of the formal hearing, yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah, so now it's for discussion among the members, and I will say that since we can't take a formal action, but I am extremely gratified to hear Ms. Avery say that they have full intentions of complying and continuing to comply, and that is our purpose here. At one point, I know I did send Ms. Avery an email saying that this body is available to provide sunshine training to any group that wants to have it, and I am still extending that offer. But I'm very pleased to hear that there has been compliance. I didn't get a chance to look at this, but I don't think that Mr. Warfield's complaint had to do with the minutes that were written after he filed his complaint. You have anything to say? No. Yeah, so based on that, my inclination, we can't vote on this, but my inclination would simply be to report back to the task force that the matter has been resolved. And if Mr. Warfield is not satisfied with the resolution, it's perfectly appropriate under our rules to come back and ask for a reconsideration. So the formal hearing is finished. So that will be the decision without the non-quorum decision, so thank you very much.
And although I don't have a rebuttal, I would very much like to take advantage of your training, and I'll contact your office to
Great.
make those arrangements.
We'd love it. We live for it. Okay. I'm going to make a note of that. Okay, then,
Madam Chair, can we call on item number 4?
I just wanted to talk about, we can't do the minutes. I just wanted to talk about process and assuring that we have a quorum next time. Do you want to address that?
Yeah, I don't know what the best record. I don't know what the best way would be to go about it, but I recommended maybe if, as chair, Chair Cawthon, maybe you could take the initiative of emailing all of the members to remind them, and perhaps if to underscore that if Clerk Weston wanted to do that as well, to email them. Although when he emails everyone the agenda, I sort of take that as a reminder. But maybe they might need something just to reinforce it.
Well, that's my feeling too, that receipt of the agenda is certainly a sufficient reminder for a member. I do believe that Marjorie Williams called in and said she had the flu, but we haven't heard from Member Johnson or Member Chan. So I would say, I've got two ideas, and one of them is yours, that this time I did forget to say take a quorum call. But I mean, can you put in you have a list book that you could put in that a quorum call would be automatic for this body? Is that too much trouble?
Madam Chair, it's not too much of a trouble.
Huh? It's not too much
of
trouble.
The issue is, I can say I'm coming, but at the last minute an emergency came up,
But I mean,
no matter how much I promise, there's no guarantee that I could be there.
it's possible that they forgot. I mean, it seems implausible to me, and I do appreciate Ms. Mona's being so, fastidious about her obligations. But I have two ideas, and one is to notify them every single month. The second is to ask Rick Nee to reduce our group to 3 people, so that we don't have quorum problems. Because if people can't get to meetings, we still have to hold the meetings, and we have to have official meetings.
Can we call item number 4? Can we call item number 4?
What's item number 4? Oh, is Ms. Mabbutt? Ms. Mabbutt? Okay. So just before we move away from that, then can you notify the members and let me know? Can you do it like a week ahead of time and let me know? Thank you.
And also maybe just in that email reminding them that, okay, mark your calendar that after this meeting, the next meeting is at this time. Does that make sense? So telling them, so for example, our next meeting is scheduled for February 11th, right? So in that reminder email telling them our meeting is scheduled for February 11th, and also mark your calendars for the March meeting, so that they'll have that in mind too when they see it in the email.
Could you send something like that? Okay. To do it, so Mr. Rustin is going to do a quorum call a week before meeting.
Sometimes it just takes being a little meticulous, sorry.
And as soon as possible, send a note, a reminder that we meet on, is it February 11th? Reminder, February 11th, and please mark your calendars.
And also like for the March, while you're marking your calendars for February 11th, also mark your calendars for the March one.
Yeah, okay. Because what I do is, when I get my book for the beginning of the year, I do my calendar, I just do the second Thursday, everything at the second Thursday at 4. Yeah. I just keep on bringing it forward so that because you forget.
Sometimes folks need that reinforcement.
They definitely do. They definitely do. Yeah. Well, good. Yeah, because we spend our time down here. I'd like to get those minutes passed. We put so much time in on them. Okay, then let's. Where are we?
Item number 4, Madam Chair.
Item 4, okay.
Item number 4 is the hearing on the status of the December 1, 2009 order of determination of Anne Marie Mabbutt against the mayor's office.
Is Ms. Mabbutt here?
Ms. Mabbutt is not here.
And anybody here from the mayor's office?
Mayor's office is represented, Madam
Oh,
Chair.
good, okay. Thank you for coming, and 5
So
minutes.
I mean, I said the last, my name's Rich Hillis, and I'm here from the Office of Economic Development. Although she says I'm from the mayor's office, I'm not, although I'm the person she made a request to.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name, you don't have to
Rich
give it.
Hillis.
Rich Hillis, you're Rich Hillis, of
Yeah.
course. Okay.
So I guess I'm the guilty party. Is that what you call me?
No.
The defendant?
We call it the respondent. You're the
I
respondent.
like defendant. I'm the defendant. So I don't know why I'm here at this meeting. I mean, I came to the general hearing. Ms. Mabbutt requested some information to me. I didn't respond to her in time. I apologized for that. It was a oversight on my part. I since have given the information. I mean, I gave the information within 10 days. But I didn't immediately, the day after, give her the response that she was supposed to receive. So I don't know what more we're supposed to discuss at this committee. Might do push-ups?
The reason that it's was forwarded to this committee is that if we can resolve it, if you can say, you know, we're sorry, we won't do it again.
I said that at the last meeting.
Okay. And also, we have an opportunity, if anybody in your, are you with the mayor's office of
No, I'm with Economic and Workforce Development. Yeah.
Didn't we make a presentation to the mayor's office? We do sunshine presentations to groups that maybe would like to get some.
I mean, I think we're pretty well-versed.
You're
I can
versed in
certainly
it?
ask it's not as if I haven't received scores of sunshine requests that I've responded to timely. So this was just a matter of, it was sent on Friday. It kind of got buried in my emails till Tuesday. I apologize.
Okay, well, then we will let them know that you apologized and that you feel your department is fully versed in the sunshine ordinance. You know, I think she has gotten her document, right?
Yeah.
All right, so
I think
then,
your memo said that.
right, so that the order of determination basically said that the study was provided.
Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, thank you very much for coming, and thank you
Now,
very
this
much.
gentleman said there wasn't a quorum, so will this be on yet another meeting calendar? Or
I don't
is
think
it-
so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
All right, thank
But
you
thank
very
you very much.
Yeah.
And thank you again for. Okay. So I don't think we need to carry that any further, do you? Okay. Okay.
I think when this committee made the presentation at the Economic Workforce Development, Mr. Hillis was with the Rec and Park, and that is why he was responding to Ms. Mabbutt's request.
Yeah, I did get that he worked for Rec Park with it at the time. But I mean, when we went, was it the Mayor's Office of Workforce Development? It was something at 25 Van Ness.
Yes, that is.
And it was also a document issue, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess the matter is closed then. I mean, we can't officially close it, but I can certainly report to the task force that we heard from
Recommended.
Mr. Hillis, and he says he's sorry, and he says that they won't do it again. He feels they're sufficiently versed in sunshine lore that they don't need us to do a presentation, you know, so, okay. So then we can just, we definitely can get out of here early. On the Shelter Monitoring Committee, that's number 5.
Have you seen Ms. Casey's email?
Sorry?
Have you read Ms. Casey's email?
Yeah, she sent it to me. What? Because I wasn't clear of, you know, the Shelter Monitoring Committee has had, guess what, quorum problems. So they did not have a December meeting. We were supposed to go to their December 20th meeting. So she put us forward to January. I sent her an email and I said, do you want us to come? And she says they still don't have the quorum. So she's now thinking of us for their February meeting, which is, what is the date?
17.
17th? Okay. Would be at 10 o'clock in room 408?
Next door.
Okay. 10 a.m. to 17, room 408. And I already made the assignments for the Shelter Monitoring Committee, so I'll just stick with those assignments. Are you included?
I'm not sure.
Okay, let me look at the assignments page.
Not as yet. It's only between Marjorie, you, and Henley. No, sorry, Doyle.
Marjorie, Doyle, and, okay. Page 24. Marjorie and Doyle. Marjorie and Doyle. We didn't have Hanley either. Would you like to to come? Would you like to come and participate?
I don't see anything that would prevent me from...
Microphone, please.
No, yes, I'd like you to participate when we go before the Coalition for
Yeah, sure.
Neighborhoods. So, I mean, it's really a good
Yeah,
way-
sure, no, I said I can't think of anything that would prevent me
Great.
from being there, so that's fine.
And it's a good way to learn the ordinance,
Yeah,
you know. But do you want to participate then when we go before the Coalition for SF Neighborhoods on February 7th? I think it's February 16th. That's going to be 2 days in a row.
what day is that?
It's the second Tuesday. I think it's the second Tuesday. It's the third Tuesday, excuse me. February 16th. The first is on a Tuesday.
But they're mornings, correct?
The Coalition for San Francisco Neighborhoods meets at 7 o'clock.
In the evening?
Yes,
If it's a Tuesday, then I wouldn't be able to do it.
you wouldn't be able to do
No,
it.
I work late on Tuesdays.
Okay. Well, then I'll give assignments out at our next meeting. Well, Hanley and well, depending on who comes to our next meeting. Our next meeting is what day? The 11th?
It's February 11th.
It is the 11th. Okay, so that will give us a week.
Typically, if there's something that you want to involve me in that's on a Tuesday, I won't be able to do it because I have meetings for work on Tuesday nights, and the exception that I make is when we have the big meetings, and I miss.
It just so happens that this particular group meets on Tuesdays. You know, the group that wants us to present in February. And the reason we changed it to February is that Hanley couldn't make it in January. So, but we'll be getting the pedestrian, what is it called, the pedestrian task force?
Safety. Pedestrian Safety Task Force.
They've asked for a presentation. When do they meet?
They meet on the second Tuesday.
On the second.
Yes, I believe so. It's second Tuesday of every month.
Oh, really? You know, the library CAC is on the third Wednesday. So when we go before the Coalition for SF Neighborhoods, I'll have the Shelter Monitoring Committee on one day. The next day I'll have, it's hard on me. But I mean, I really appreciate that Suzanne came and that she's willing to participate and that she's willing to come to the Shelter Monitoring Committee. Great. And we'll just work it out with these other members.
That is why,
You know, I don't want to do it all by myself.
that is why you have to shorten this list.
I have to what?
You have to shorten the list.
I have to shorten the list. Why do I have to shorten the list? I just, you know, yeah, you said that, so, yeah, the sixth one, outreach. Yeah, I mean, we can put police community relations. The reason I keep it there is I want to keep it before us. I'll just let Police Community Relations, League of Women Voters, Council of District Merchants, and Glen Park Association. We'll keep them on, but we won't do anything. I won't do any outreach. But Hanley did say Lower Polk Neighborhood Association was interested, so we'll let Hanley pursue that for us. Could you send him an email and say that Chair Coffin wants to know what his success was? I hate to ask you to do all this, but I mean, we agreed that it's better for you to do it than for me to do it.
Chair Coffin, when do the police community relations meetings, when do they take place?
The police can have, every police facility has a monthly community relations meeting.
As far as day of the week, is there a consistent day?
Well, some of them are very interested in knowing. We did a presentation at the mission. Actually, it was the administrator and I did the presentation, so maybe if I can get Cynthia Rustum to let him go, I could corral Mr. Rustum. That's just a thought, but I mean, we had fun. We went down to the mission station and made a presentation, and they gave us apples. And afterwards, we went and had a taco. It was right in the 17th and Mission, right in the middle of Burrito City. It was fun. So anyway, there are lots of possibilities, and it's sort of interesting to get into other neighborhoods too, and it's always good to pontificate about the Sunshine Ordinance because it's the essence of the democratic process. So I don't think we have too much left to do, since nobody is here. But we were going to talk to, let's see, under outreach, we were going to talk to neighborhood newspaper editors and see if they wanted any stories. Do you know are there any newspapers that you're familiar with that you could maybe hit the editor up, like a 300-word piece?
They're very, very busy, but I do know San Francisco Bayview and the Sun Reporter.
You do?
I know them very well. But they're very understaffed. The SF Bayview, I don't know that I want to necessarily say this on the record, but they went through hell with.
Yeah, 2 Suzannes and 2 journalists. I was going to offer them like a 300-word piece that we could just can and say this is what this is, and they could just drop it in. Particularly, So I mean, if you know them, you might ask if they have any interest. Okay. I mean, so the only thing we'd have to do is write it. You could write it. I could write it. Chris could write it. Yeah, I mean, we could just tell them very briefly. We could take it from we could rewrite that brochure. That blue brochure? I don't know. I've never seen it. I'm happy to look at it. Okay, we have a brochure which tells what the Sunshine Task Force is and what it does. So I mean, I'm all for having new members become familiar with the ordinance. It's a little tricky. I mean, it's the basic principles we all know. It's open, open government, open meetings, open access to documents, but it's kind of laid out in that blue brochure. Do we don't have any, I don't have any with me.
I can get her one.
You want to go get one? Yeah. So we'll take a little.
Not urgent, I can get it later.
You could have it. Why not have it? Have a look. It's interesting, yeah. We work really hard on it at this body. It's one of our, yeah.
Where were you a journalist?
I've worked for loads of people. I worked for the Journal of Commerce in New York. It's a daily business paper. I'm working now for Lloyd's of London Press, which is a big outfit in Europe. I've worked for many people, I've worked for
As a columnist or?
as a reporter, as an editor, as a managing editor. Yeah, as a columnist, I've written columns written for a lot of magazines, written for a lot of. Yeah, I'll give you my card.
That's great. I had no idea.
What do you work for?
I work for the Citizen Newspaper.
Oh yeah, they're really good.
They're also very crazy.
Why do they? Oh, doesn't that go over the territory?
Yeah, it's getting pretty crazy.
Give a card. So Chris, are you going back? So when you send those emails to the bad boys, would you copy me? Because I might call them and just follow up. I don't think that's a violation of the Sunshine Ordinance to urge them to come.
To whom am I sending the emails?
You're going to send an email to Marjorie, Hanley, and Doyle, and just reminding them that we missed them, that Chair Cawthon asked that I send an email saying that we were sorry they were unable to attend our January 14th meeting, but that she hopes that she will see you
Okay,
at
I
our
get it.
February 11th meeting and at our March whatever meeting. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because, yeah, I mean, they need to participate in these presentations as well. So, okay, very interesting. So you speak Spanish and Arabic? Wow, I'm impressed. Okay, so we'll get on with our business. And I was going to call Doug Comstock at the the West Side Observer, and also I know the people at Central City Extra, which is the Tenderloin newspaper. I've written for them before, so I can. And Marjorie was supposed to be doing some stuff, and John Doyle was supposed to be doing some stuff. So, so number 8, I just made number 8 something that we've talked about before. It's not on the agenda. We've talked about department head calendars and how they're supposed to show how they spend their meeting, according to Deputy City Attorney Threet. They're supposed to put in what they did instead. And so one of my thoughts was, and the library doesn't do it, but I don't want to pick on the library. So I thought possibly we could send out a memo, if everybody agrees, to all department heads saying, you know, these are the rules, this is what 67.16 or whatever it is, this is what it says. And if you do have occasion to cancel a meeting, the appropriate calendar notation would be what the alternative use of your time. Something like that. That sounds so good. I wish can you put that in the minutes? So I remember what I said. Yeah. And then the other thing is responses to immediate disclosure requests. And I've been working with some people who have been doing a lot of them. They routinely get the 14-day extension. And so I said to them, you make a request and see how they handle all immediate disclosure requests. And if you find a pattern, then we can take it up. And that was also a suggestion of City Attorney Threet. So that's it, except that I'm sorry I'm missing City Attorney Threet, but Administrator Rustum is certainly filling in the gap admirably. So does anybody else have anything? I mean, we don't really have to adjourn because we didn't ever convene. So if I go next time, we got to get 3 people here or reduce the amount of members. So thank you again for coming.